Jamie made a number of changes to your 21-man squad, enforced by injuries. How's the squad looking for Monday's game?
Looking good, looking positive. Got smiles on their faces, and I trust everybody that's in there implicitly. Getting the right people in the right places. Some young ones, but young kids with a lot of wisdom and exactly the type of temperament, character, professional that we want in the Leeds Rhinos side. It'd be good to see him in 12, 18 months with a bit more muscle on him and a few more miles in the tank, but really excited about where it's going. And again, we've had a really good positive couple of days. I'll probably keep repeating myself, because to have a consistently good side and a side that's constantly developing, you've got to keep reminding each other what your fundamental values are, and these boys are doing that. They've got a smile on their face, and it seems to be a lot of clarity, and a lot of that is coming from some of our younger end as well.
You've spoken the last few weeks about how impressed you've been with Max Simpson and Jack Sinfield, what they're doing with the reserves and the 18s. They've earned their shot in the first team squad.
Without a doubt, there's some real pedigree in there. Certainly we all know where Jack's come from, and he's very much in the images of his dad, but at the same time, he's not his dad, it's Jack. He's his own individual self, and he brings about a uniqueness to the way he plays without losing any of that professionalism or the intent that we saw from Kevin. That's exactly what we want to see for this next generation. And you look at Max Simpson, he's a bit of a freak of a specimen, for such a young boy. You look at him, he's quite slight and he looks very young at face, but very well developed, and the numbers that he's been putting out physically in training have been exceptional. Right at the top of the list, competing against seasoned professionals. So when you've got young blokes with enthusiasm and a real healthy perspective of evolution, and that'll make sense in a few weeks, I'm sure. It's good to have around the side, because it just keeps things moving forward.
How important is this for those players that they've been part of that? The reserve team had a great win against Wigan last week. The 18s had a great win against Wigan last week. That they can see there is progression. That if they perform well, if they work hard in training, that they will get their shot. I've
been through that system, Phil, and I remember some great coaches, not least Tony Smith, who would give you those opportunities if you're working hard, you're doing the right things for the right reason, and ultimately you're doing the right things for other people. And that's what those guys are doing, very selfless in the way that they act, in the way that they behave. And what we've been trying to feed into the senior group in this last couple of weeks, when it comes to resilience and perseverance and fortitude, I've seen that manifest as well through our young blokes in our academy. Anybody watched that academy game against Wigan, it went 18-0 down in the first 20 minutes or so, and just looked physically dominated, and you're like, wow, are these guys a lot younger? And the way that they turned it around was spectacular. They never gave up. They had a constant fight, and Jack in particular come up with some real wise plays at the back end, and ultimately won them the game. But to stay in the game, it needed a team effort, a selfless team effort, and those are the virtues that we want to bring through into the first team for the next 10-15 years. And to get those boys in and around our first team squad is really important.
Castleford played them recently in the Challenge Cup, obviously. What are you expecting from them on Monday?
A lot of experienced players. I think they play in the image of Lee Radford. A lot of teams do play in the image of their coach. Very tough, very direct, very physical. And we expect a real big contest from them. They embarrassed us a few weeks ago, but we've moved on since then. We've taken a few strides. We're building as a group. We're bringing some of those young blokes on who want to exert some energy. And so we'll go compete, and ultimately our focus has been about us, it's been on us. But how can we be the best versions of ourselves individually, so that we're contributing collectively to the team? And that's what I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing this week.